Final reading for February 2026 from the Science of Mind magazine daily guides. Today has been a day where there's been a lot of things happening around the world, especially in the Middle East. And obviously, Reverend Raymont could not have known about that when he wrote the readings for today, but I think it's appropriate. The word for the day, or actually the thought for the day I've chosen for today, it really fits in with the readings. It's by Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland, right? Who says, "Why, sometimes I've believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast." And of course, that was the Queen in Alice in Wonderland. So there you are. And this is what Reverend Raymont has got to say today, a prayer for the planet. And my goodness me, we need it right now. And Gabor Mate in The Realm of Hungry Ghosts, Close Encounters with Addiction says, "Not the world, not what's outside of us, but what we hold inside. That's what traps us. We may not be responsible for the world that created our minds, the divine, but we can take responsibility for the mind with which we create our world." Great words of wisdom, at least in my humble opinion. And this was Ernest Holmes speaking back in 1953. "Believing in the divine destiny of the United States and in the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression for all, I offer this, my prayer for my country. I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression." And Reverend Raymont goes on to say, when Ernest Holmes wrote A Prayer for My Country in 1953, it was common for people in the United States to be America-centric. Well, let's face it, some are today. Today, he says, Centers for Spiritual Living and lots of spiritual communities, unity, you name it, are global, and the world is interconnected in ways which Ernest Holmes back in that time could not have imagined. He says to pray only for the United States is a bit disrespectful to all the various communities, centers for spiritual living, churches, chapels, mosques, and temples, etc., and communities and people in the movement, in this movement and other movements who are elsewhere on the planet. He says, our invitation then is to pray for our world and to pray for our planet. And then he rightly says, there are people, animals, insects, and plants in villages, towns, cities, mountains, deserts, and jungles that we will never visit, that we will never meet, and never see in person. He says, they should be included in our prayers. If we limit our vision and prayers to a single country, a country that works for us, then that is a different kind of prayer. But the current vision is much more expansive than that. Do you pray for those who experience domestic violence, those who are unhoused, the marginalized, those who face food insecurity, those who are incarcerated, those who fear for their children's safety when they send them to school? We should not need a personal connection to a specific person, a specific place, or a specific thing in order to pray for them. He says, start today and continue throughout the next month praying for the planet. Every nation, every person, the whole environment, every habitat, and every incarnation of God as this world and beyond. He says, see what possibilities you're willing to embrace and express as a result. And I would say, if you're a praying person, and I assume you are, if you're actually watching this and listening to this, then don't let it stop at a month. Keep it going as an ongoing practice. And I'm not preaching something I don't do. Every time in my daily prayer time, I pray for the planet, and I've been doing that for a long time. And when enough of us do that, magic will happen. It has to happen. So this is a great message. We need prayers right now. We especially need prayers in the Middle East. So hold in your mind's peace. Hold in your mind's peace. But also hold for outcomes that benefit the planet and individuals on the planet, because that's vitally important. Well, that's the end of Reverend Raymont's messages for this month. We'll get a new writer next month, starting tomorrow. And I just want to know, I am knowing for every person on this planet, every being on this planet, and the planet itself, that as the human race evolves, it begins to take care not only of itself, but as everything else on this planet. And I claim that this is truth. And I release this word with gratitude into that divine law that always, always says yes. And so it is. And of course, my colleague, Reverend Lisa, will be here tomorrow, and I will be back around about 5:30 tomorrow. I changed the affirmations a little bit to suit me and also hopefully you. I say a prayer and I live it. I say amen and I am it. Everything I am and everything I do is the divine praying itself into humanity. Yes, you are an expression of the divine. Until next time, namaste.